1, 2, 3. I haven't written anything down for this video, so it's probably going to be really rambly, so bear with me. I've been trying to record it like 3 times and it just isn't happening, so I'm really going to try to do this because this is a topic that I want to talk about really badly. Hey lovelies, I hope your day is going well. I haven't made a talking vlog in a while. Most of the time when I make talking vlogs, and it's been a while, it's an updates video, but today it's not going to be an updates video. If you want to have an updates video about where I'm at, where I am right now at life, during life, I don't know, I can't talk. But yeah, if you want me to make an updates video on where I'm at right now, feel free to say you do, but I'm just gonna talk about a topic that I'd really like to have a discussion about, and feel free to comment in the comments on your thoughts about this. A topic that people come to me a lot about on my blog. I get people asking advice about this all the time. It's probably my #1 most asked for advice topics. I don't know if that wording makes sense, but hopefully it makes sense. I'm going to be talking about relationships and being young and in love. I wanted to make this video not only because this is something that I think about a lot, something I have a fair amount of experience for at my age, but also something that I feel like there's a lot of videos with people between the ages of 20 and 25 talking about, but there aren't a lot of young people talking about this. And it's because when you're young, people don't want to talk about the fact that you can be young and have had very emotionally intense relationships or very serious relationships, because people diminish young relationships or see it as something that isn't serious. I am currently 17. I turn 18 in September, so I'm still fairly young. I'm still a teenager. I'm still figuring out my shit. So I have had 2 what I like to refer to as Facebook official relationships. They were people I referred to as my partner or my boyfriend. I haven't had a girlfriend before, so I'm just saying partner or boyfriend. And I've had 2 of those, and then I've had about a handful of relationships that weren't official, or they weren't we didn't use the labels like partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, but they were people who I had a very intense emotional connection with, a very intense relationship with, and also were physically affectionate or had physical affection with. So I don't think it really falls under the radar of friend. It more falls under the radar of we weren't actually together, but we definitely had a thing, which I think is a thing that people don't refer to a lot and talk about a lot, and it's something that definitely a lot of people go through relationship-wise. I've had 2 official relationships and a handful of unofficial relationships in my life at the age of 17. I'd say probably around 3 or 4 unofficial and then 2 official. I feel like there's this pressure when you're a kid. You are pretty much raised in a society where one of the first things you learn is that you're gonna grow up and you're gonna fall in love and you're gonna have a relationship. And most of the time this will start happening between the ages of 13 and 18. This is something that has an immense pressure on society and people. I remember being a kid and being like, I'm so excited to be a teenager and have my first relationship. I'm so excited. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting a relationship, but it's something that's definitely enforced in our society, that you're going to meet a person, they're going to be the one, and then you're going to get married. That's something that has been pushed in society and is enforced on you since you're young, by media, by family, whatever. It's something that is always there, and it's always looming. Due to that, there's this intense feeling that if you're not in a relationship, you are failing or nobody will ever want you. And I hate that, because I definitely have felt that feeling before, that nobody wants me. And there's nothing, and that's so damaging. It's such a damaging thing to grow up thinking, unless somebody has a romantic attraction towards me or wants to be in a relationship with me, I have no worth. It's something that I've been thinking about so much, and your worth is definitely not tied to having a relationship with somebody, a romantic relationship. That, there is no, there should be no connection between those 2 things, because there really isn't anything to connect them other than the fact that there's this weird, twisted sort of, rule or, unspoken feeling about that. And there's so many people who feel that way, and I hate that, and I wish that more people talked openly about that, the fact that there's this weird pressure to be in relationships when you're young. When we're talking about that pressure to be in a relationship, to have a relationship when you're young, if you're in a relationship right now, I want you to know there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting a relationship or having a relationship when you're young. I have valued and really appreciated every single romantic connection I've made with every person I've had a romantic connection with, because I've had quite a few, and each one of them has been incredibly different and incredibly valuable. I have learned a lot, but I've also had them be really incredibly damaging to me, because I didn't quite have a grasp on the intensity of having a relationship with somebody. It's why people kind of say that some parents, I think, put the rule on, oh, you shouldn't be in a relationship until you're a certain age, or some people have like an age where they think you're ready to have a relationship. And the truth is, I don't think anybody's ever ready to have a relationship. Sometimes they just happen, but there's definitely a maturity, and an intensity to having a relationship. Because relationships take work. And people forget that relationships take work. They take commitment, they take time, they take vulnerability, they take a lot. And it just depends on the intensity of your relationship, because there are kids who have, there's like 13-year-olds who have like their little relationship and they like hold hands and they like kiss each other on the cheek and it's like very innocent. And then there's the relationship side that is like, I am in an intense emotional entanglement with you. I talk to you about my problems. I talk to you about everything. And also we have a physical connection. So like the spectrum of relationships, because there's definitely a spectrum, is so wide and like vast. And it's very complex. When you're young, you're still figuring yourself out. And it's so hard to figure yourself out if you throw yourself into a relationship young and build yourself around that. When you're young, you're going to fall in love with somebody, if you do. And if you fall in love with somebody when you're young, you're going to think, a lot of the times you're going to think, this person's the one. This person is it. I'm going to be with this person forever. And most of the time, that is not true. I have felt that way about probably 3 or 4 people who I've had a romantic sort of intense relationship with. And I am no longer with any of those people. Feeling that way about somebody and then having them leave can be so incredibly emotionally damaging and makes you feel like shit, pretty much, because you're like, why didn't this person want to stay with me forever? This person told me they were going to stay with me forever, and then they left. And it inflicts trust issues and inflicts abandonment issues. It really brings up a lot of stuff, and then you kind of pack it down because you're young and people don't take that seriously. And you feel that way. You feel like you've lost part of yourself. Because in society, there's just this whole pressure to be with somebody forever, that you're going to meet somebody and that's going to be it. And often that's not true. Most of the time, that's not going to happen. And it's scary, but we need to realize that. I'm not saying that, like, if you're in a relationship right now and you're young, you're going to not end up with that person. There's a chance you will, but also, realistically, you probably won't. Also, another thing that I want to talk about is you don't have to stay with somebody even if you've been with them forever. If you get together with somebody when you're young, you do not have to marry them. You do not have to be with them. If you change, you do not have to stay there. You do not have to, like, stay there just because you feel like you are obligated to, because you've been together for so long. People change and people grow, especially when you're young. Often, a lot of people when they're young in relationships aren't ready to grow with somebody. They aren't ready. They aren't ready to be there yet, and that's okay. It's also okay if you've never been in a relationship and you're young. Please do not feel like you have to be in a relationship. You shouldn't just enter a relationship with somebody because you feel like you need to be in a relationship. You should enter a relationship with somebody because you feel like that's a person that you really connect with, really want to be with. I currently have decided that I'm going to be remaining unattached romantically for a while. I don't know exactly when, obviously, because, hey, I might meet somebody and be like, this is great. But, you know, I've decided to be alone in that aspect of my life and love myself for a while. I really want to value myself and learn how to be alone, love myself, take care of myself, and not feel like I not put all my value in having a romantic relationship, not put all my value in another person. If you are currently feel like a pressure to be in a relationship, feel like you need to be in one to be fulfilled and be happy, you don't. You don't need to be in a relationship to be happy. If you're in a relationship or want to be in a relationship and you're happy, that is also okay, but you do not have to be. It's okay to be alone. And I feel like I haven't had people tell me that. I've only had a couple people be like, it's okay for you to be alone and be single and be happy single. You don't have to always be seeking out a relationship. And, like, I've had people recently, like, ask for my number or ask me out, and it's been so hard to say no because I've been so, like beaten down in a way of, like, I have to be in a relationship to be happy and to feel fulfilled, that it's been so hard for me to just be like, no, I'm being alone right now, and that's okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have to be in a relationship. I don't have to force myself to talk to somebody because I feel like I need to have that relationship. I don't need that, and you don't have to have one, and you don't have to stay with somebody, and you don't need a romantic connection to love yourself or feel love or be loved. Yeah, okay. Hopefully that made some sort of sense. It might not make any sense. By the way, I wanted to clarify that I don't think I know everything about relationships. I definitely have so much more to learn. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed my rambling about relationships and feelings, etc., etc. I hope you have a good week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.